Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody from all around the world, hello and welcome to another episode of The Welch Report with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Make some noise, clap it up, get excited wherever you are. We are back with another action-packed show for you today, and we got so much to discuss today. We got the aftermath of Jake Paul versus Chavez. We got Floyd Schofield. We got what's his name? Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. We got Deontay Wilder. We got so much to discuss on today. Not to mention free agency started today in July. Also, happy July 1st, happy 4th of July. Cause I know it's coming up this weekend. We got a lot. I mean, we got a whole bunch of stuff that we got to discuss, and man, when I tell you I was rushing my way getting back here so I could be able to record with you all, it could not come fast enough because we have discourse aplenty. Rankings have been moved. Jake Paul is ranked, y'all. Can you believe it? Are you shocked? I know I am. Jake Paul's ranked. Schofield right behind Tank now in the rankings for the lightweight division. I mean, shoot, Wilder got a KO. People are saying that he's back. People are saying that he ain't. Shoot, there may be some news I even might be missing, honestly enough. We got Jake Paul calling out Ceruda. We got Ceruda versus potentially Jaya Patat. It's a lot. My gosh. And I also have to be with you talking about it all today. And please, if you're new here, leave a like on the stream. If you're already here, go ahead and get the likes up so we can make this stream applicable to everybody all around the globe to make this the hottest show in all the globe. Absolutely can't do this without your support, and it helps the algorithm to push the show out. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Go ahead and hit the notification bell so you know whenever we post right here on YouTube and whatever we do right here on this channel. And leave a like on the video, comment your thoughts and opinions in the chat down below, and we can go and have your discussions and your voice be heard and seen on screen for the world to see. Also, be sure to share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together. Yes, indeed, this is a community that is growing and thriving, and it's all thanks to you and your support to make this possible. So please keep on sharing the show. Keep on sending it out to people. Keep on letting people know what we got going on right here. And excuse me, I'm trying to make sure I got my microphone correct so we ain't having no I don't want to look off center or anything. And I want to make sure you can hear me clearly. Please keep on sharing the show, keep on telling people about the show, keep on getting people involved in this show, and keep on helping us to grow this empire, because we can't do it without you all, and you all help. You are the foundation for what this show is, and I appreciate it so much. And we're available on every podcasting platform imaginable. That's Apple, Spotify, and any other place you listen to podcasts. If you name it, we're there, and if we're not there, tell us. We will get there. Absolutely. But with all that being said, we have so much to talk about and discuss on this Tuesday afternoon. So let's not mince words about it. We got to talk about boxing first and foremost, above all. And so because of that, it is time to step into the ring. No, wrong button. Wait, wrong button. There we go. Yes, sir. Let's get it started. Round one of this show going underway, which we got to talk about what the biggest plot point of the weekend, which was Jake Paul, and not just him beating Chavez with the Chavez card. But we got people in the chat. Hold on, wait a minute now. Wait a second. We got people in the chat like Moo Man. What's good with you, my brother? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in to the show. What's good with you? Hey, what's good with you, my brother? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Glad that you're here. Glad that everybody's on board. Glad that, again, we're starting late. I just got back from the weekend handling some stuff, handling some business. Now I'm here. Now I know it's later, but this is when I can get in. But we back now. We're going to be as better, not just as good. We're going to be better than we ever been before. This is going to be a show. If you ain't ever seen anything else, you're going to want to stick around for this. We're going to have a lot of talk. We're going to have a lot of talk. But let me see. Biscuits and Groovy, how you doing? Good to see you. What's good with you? Thanks for tuning into the show. Glad that you're early this morning. Absolutely. But let me keep on reading what you all got to say. Chavez was paid good. Shake my head for not throwing. Hey, brother. Let me tell you something right now. We'll jump into the Jake Paul thing. Go ahead. Again, as we know, we don't want to talk about it. We've gone through this whole debacle, but we might as well talk about it again because now it's the biggest thing that happened. And now, as a result of beating Chavez Jr., Jake Paul is officially ranked in the cruiserweight division. My God. My goodness. Can you believe it? I know I can't. I'm in disbelief. I'm disgusted, but we're going to talk about that later on. Let's break down the fight first and foremost, shall we? This fight was a fight that I am not going to lie. Bear with me here. Please bear with me. I'm not going to lie. Jake Paul looked good. He looked good. For the first 5 rounds, he looked good. Like it. We still don't like him. I still don't like him. But for the first 5 rounds of this fight, this was the best I had ever seen Jake Paul inside the ring. Yes, Chavez, as Moo-Man said, wasn't throwing punches. Was not trying to really initiate any type of offense. We get that completely. We're going to address that, absolutely. But even for somebody who was just being a punching bag, still, Jake Paul showed a level of offensive effectiveness, even against worse fighters that he had, or even against the likes of Chavez Jr., who, again, is not great. Who, again, we said we didn't know what type of Chavez was going to show up. We now know what Chavez showed up now, even against this terrible version. It's a horrible fighter. Still, we hadn't seen this brother throw these types of sharp combinations before. We give credit where credit is due. We do. We have to be fair because we do this with every other fighter. We got to be fair with it, even though I don't want to. He did not look bad for the first 5 rounds. Punches were sharp. Combinations had gotten better. The speed of his punches was actually impressive to some degree from what we had seen in the past before. The understanding of how to put a flow together, there was something there. Hey, great. Defensively, got a little bit better. But with all of that being said, still the butt is a bump. He's still a bump. Because right after those 5 rounds, with nothing else coming back at him, this man still got tired and let everything that he had actually improved upon go to waste, and all technique went out the window. Yet again, just like we had been saying, this is a very problem with the likes of Jake Paul. The brother is, even with whatever improvement that he has, he's never able to sustain it. And this is why he's not a great fighter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. It's been 5 years, and this brother still cannot go even 8 rounds without having to walk around with his hands down. His stamina is that abysmal. His technique falls apart that quickly. When he gets pressured, he is still not understanding what to do. He's doing a little bit better, but he still don't know what to do when the standpoint of when he's had to fight on the back foot. What the world is he able to achieve? He's got a better jab. Again, I'll give him that. Uses jab best than we've ever seen in any one of his fights. Was actually attacking the body relatively effectively. We give credit, but even still, after round 5, everything fell apart, and this is with him controlling the entirety of the fight. This man, without any sort of initiation from Chavez Jr., still by round 8 was winded as if he had been in a war, which doesn't make any sense, but it speaks to the bum nature of who Jake Paul is. This is why this fight was not as impressive. Though we saw improvements, this does not show us anything about what exactly he can do against actual top-tier talent. And if we go on Chavez Jr., hey, moment, Chavez was paid good money. He was paid good money. And doggone it, this brother, I genuinely believe he was actually trying in this fight. You know why? Because after round 8, he actually was taking it to Jake Paul. My gosh. Jake Paul, after round 8, was in a world of trouble because Chavez actually was landing on that bullet. Chavez actually was rocking that bullet. There was one point in time, Chavez actually hurt Jake Paul. I'm talking about like there was a right, I think it was a right hand. I believe it was a right hand that Chavez had thrown in when Jake Paul was on the ropes that legitimately stiffened up Jake Paul's legs and almost had that brother put down. Almost had him. I'm dead serious. Go back and rewatch the fight. It's in between rounds 8 and it's between rounds 10 and rounds 12. Jake Paul, there was a situation where this brother was legitimately stiffened up. Somewhat akin to what we had seen when Caleb Plant had fought against McCumbee. And that brother got caught on the ropes, and he stiffened up when he got caught clean and went down, almost went down. Oh, excuse me, did go there. But in this situation, Jake Paul clinched for his life. But regardless of which, he actually got rocked. This was against a natural 160-pounder who came up to 199, ballooning up to 199. And he was able to, in the later stages, rock that, but genuinely rock people. This is a bum of a fighter in Chavez Jr. as it is right now. Because this Chavez, again, is a Chavez that we were saying we didn't trust. We didn't believe it. You know why? Because he'd been a drug addict. Well, not a drug addict. I think it was an alcoholic. One of the two things that, again, credit to him, he recovered from. Been 2 years clean. Thank the Lord. But regardless of which, that whole situation of what is he as a fighter, brother, what you see is what you get, because it ain't changing. It ain't changed with Anderson Silva, and it wasn't going to change with Jake Paul. The man still, regardless of how much training you saw, regardless of how much of fervor you saw in the gym, did I not say his punches did look slow? It wasn't as sharp as people were giving it out to be. Even some people in the chat. I was saying I didn't see what people were seeing with him in the gym looking good. I didn't see it. There was good reason. Because the brother, it's a shell. It's a shell of that championship aspirations. But he didn't even attack the body with the patented Chavez style that we all know. The whole family knows how to fight like. But he didn't do it. Chavez is gone. You don't need to fight again. Don't need to fight for another tune-up. Nah. It's just terrible. But if Jake Paul, with this level of bad competition, still looked this bad the second he got tired and any sort of resistance started coming his way, brother, you being ranked is about to be the worst decision of your life. My God, let me tell you something right now. You about to be in the world of trouble. Because now, you say you wanted to be in the championship picture. Now you're here. Again, as we go into now with ramifications of this fight with Paul, Jake Paul is now ranked. It's official. He's ranked in the cruiserweight division, 14th in the world. After beating Chavez Jr., not even an actual cruiserweight. He's ranked 14th in the world. And he's got an opportunity to fight against Zurdo. I've been saying his name wrong. It's not Zerudo, though I like the way it sounds. Zurdo. Ramirez. He's fighting against Zurdo Ramirez. Or potentially is in line to fight for Zurdo's title. Who is, in fact, on the top two in the cruiserweight division. And was on the undercard. Fought against Dracus. Some people say he didn't look as good. I'm going to tell you this. The brother, he was doing a great job of parrying, blocking shots while being in the center. Yes, Dracus was doing some good work. But in the midst of fire, we were seeing this brother in Zurdo parry a bunch of stuff off and doing fluid combinations. He didn't look as fast as I wanted him to. Yes, he looked a little bit more flabby than I'm used to seeing Zurdo. In terms of more padding around the body. Not as fit as I normally see this cat. But regardless of which, he still performed like Zurdo. And now, you want to fight that brother? Because you think he's slow? Brother, you gonna die.
Hey, look at this. We got some problems.
You gonna die.
We got some problems.
And you won't do it in the first place. You know why? Because he's not in the big enough name. You can call him out as much as you want. Jake Paul's whole MO, he is going to go until he loses against a big name. And then he's going to stop. Tommy Fury, he lost, but even still, he was able to recover to be able to still get a level of traction back. Once he faces, now that he's ranked at this level, once he faces anybody up at this stage, he's not beating him. He's not, and sure, there also one argument on Twitter. People don't know what anybody in the cruiserweight division. It's not as recognized by the whole of the boxing landscape from the sense of notarized names. Sure, I'm going to tell you this right now. From 14 on up, Chavez doesn't belong in the cruiserweight division at all. Anybody who's actively in the cruiserweight division will kill Jake Paul, let alone a world champion. You gotta understand. It's not just Zurdo or Jaya Patai, which he didn't really call out. I don't believe he called him out. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. He didn't call out Jaya Patai when trying to go through the names that he went through. Like the Joshuas, like the Tanks, like the Zurdos. Tommy Fury, a hodgepodge of weight classes and names. Didn't call out Jai Bataille, did he? And that's a champion too. But another conversation. This brother, just to get there, he might have to take one fight within that top 10. And he's going to lose if he does. He's going to lose if he does. Because every advantage that he's had now is no longer going to be applicable. There is no advantage that Jake Paul will be able to have now that if he is actually vying for a title. All of this stuff that we've seen, the age differences, weight class differences, the rules, stipulations, gone. Because now you're fighting for a championship. That ain't happening. And I don't deny that he'll get there. Because he's too much money not to actually give him a shot. We know how this business works. But I'm gonna tell you this, it's gonna be the end of the run. Forget Canelo, forget Tank, forget any of them. That's gonna be the end of the run. That will be the end of the run. I promise you. It's gonna be the end of the run. It's gonna be insane. We're gonna discuss some of his options later on. But again, we got a lot to talk about. So we're trying to go through. But let me keep on reading so I don't miss anybody's chats. Let me see movement. It don't even matter. If he just threw punches and it's the first round, it would have been a different fight. No, you're not right. What I thought was going to happen was that Chavez was trying to wait out Jake Paul and let him punch himself out, and then after round 6, now start going and being aggressive and throwing when Jake Paul's speed and technique and footwork slowed down, which it did happen, but the brother didn't even try up until round 8. This would have been, he could have kept the same game plan and then just started punching. But after round 5, that would have been the way I would have beat him. That was what I would have told my own, if I was training a fighter, I would have done exactly what Chavez did up until after round 5. Walk him down and tire him out. Let him punch his way out. Just stay up for 5 rounds and walk him down. And then after round 5, now you start taking it to him. And he won't have a thing to do. By round 8, he's going to be ready to go. But it took 2 rounds for Jake Paul to be hurt, rocked, and clinching up. If you started this offensive array in round 5, brother, round 8 would have been the end of the fight. It would have been the end of the fight. But again, Chavez, like I said, we now know what version Chavez showed up. And yeah, this is a performance that should have been expected. Because we all thought of something. We thought of a bygone era of a man who's no longer that same man anymore. But let me see, Coach Haney. Yo, what's good with you? How you doing? Thanks for tuning into the show. We appreciate you coming on. Let me see what you got to say. Jake Paul would not make it out of a regional tournament. No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. He would not. And again, the brother has physical gifts. He's got pop. He's just not good. And every fight that we've been in keeps on showing you, brother, even the bad fighters are one adaptation away from beating this man and knocking him out, but they never do it. Tyron Woodley almost had that brother out, but let him survive because he stopped, because he was trying to hold back on his offense the first fight. Second fight, didn't even try to do the same thing that he did the first fight, and he got put out clean. Anderson Silva, the brother would have won the fight if he had just used his jab more and not went too far on the inside with Jake Paul to get caught off balance with a shot that put him down, that knocked him down. Tommy Fury did a terrible job in terms of, he's not a great fighter. That brother being a bad fighter, just doing everything correctly, even with the knockdown. It was close, but he beat him. And because he adapted just a little bit. That's all, just a little bit. And it was enough. It don't take much to beat Jake Paul. It really doesn't. And we are not frustrated. Also, hold on, Al Booga, what's good with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in to the show. Also, real quick, I'm noticing something new. Do we got rankings now for people in the chat? Wait a minute. Is this a ranking system? What the world? I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm seeing this on my own background alone. Is there a ranking system now on YouTube, people that chat up? Wait a minute. Oh, shoot. Oh, my gosh. Y'all can get back. Oh, I think, is it for donate? Wait, it's for donations. Wait a second. I don't think it's for donations because I'm still whatchamacallit. I'm still 100 hours away. Now, hey, we're 100 hours away from getting monetized, or at least with Super Chat. So we almost there. Hey, brother, we almost there. We almost there. So I don't think it's for doggone it, donations yet, because it's on my profile still saying it ain't available. But if y'all surprised, hey, I'm good. But I think this is just for chats. But I don't care. This is dope. Oh man. Oh, this is really cool. I'm sorry. I'm geeking out. I'm learning new stuff every day. I've been gone for 3 days, so I apologize. Oh, this is new to me. But either way, let me not waste time. The main thing is, we know Jake Paul is going to lose against any relatively good talent. This man's now in ranked competition at cruiserweight. He's going to lose either against Zerto, who he called out, or if it's against Tank, he'll lose to Tank. Yes, he will. Or a name that's been thrown around, Badu Jack. Now, let me tell you something right now. If you think Badu Jack is the weakest competition of the champions at cruiserweight, which if you want to say because he's 42 years old, fine. I'm going to tell you this right now. If Jake Paul fights against Badu Jack for a title, now that he's ranked, he will die quicker than he would against Zerto. I'm telling you he will. I don't think we've watched Badu. This is the man who's fought, 4, 5 divisions and gotten a title every single time. He's been in wars every single time. He's got pop, power, great combinations. Everybody thinks because he's old, he can't take the punches of Jake Paul. I don't know why. We've seen this man cut, which essentially looked like a bullet hole in the head mid-fight and win. I don't understand why people are saying this man, because of his age, is weak. And yeah, Jake Paul might have his best chance to beat Badu Jack. Brother, the immortal one is not going to lose to Jake Paul. Okay, the time stopper, Mr. Immortal, I don't know what other nickname you want to call him, because the buddy just continues to exist. He just keeps on winning belts. Ever since I've been watching boxing, he'll pop up on a card. It's always for a title, and he comes in and he always wins it every single fight, and it's never boring. I'm gonna tell you this right now: Jake Paul, Zerto might have some mercy on you if you fight against him. I mean, he'll still kill you, but he might toy around with you. Badu Jack won't toy around with you, but he's too old. He won't be smiling. He won't be gaming with you. Brother, no, he will kill you in 3 rounds. Zerto might make you look silly and then finally beat you in round 6 or 7. Because those fluid combinations, the punches, and the parrying he's able to do while standing in front of you. He might eat some shots just because I'll let you play. I'll let you think you got some ability, and then boom, take you out. Badu Jack ain't playing that, but he will destroy you quicker. Not because he's better than Zerto, but because stylistically that man is more prone to not just boxing and winning or boxing and dominating. He is more prone to this man will throw some leather once you get in range, and he will be looking to end you early. More so than Zerto. Though we know Zerto can do the same thing. Stylistically, how they fight. You don't want Badu Jack. You don't want nobody up there. And again, you've gotten yourself into a world of pain. Because now, and this is the last thing, Jake, we know the goal. We know the plan. Canelo, Tank, or a world title. A world title is secondary. Don't let anybody tell you different. A world title for Jake Paul is secondary to the ultimate goal of fighting a Canelo or a Tank Davis. It is secondary to those ramifications. Getting a shot at a title is just a build to him getting a potential fight with Canelo or Tank. I'm telling you. Because that's what we've been seeing this all this time. Once he gets those two, or one of them, Tank or Canelo, then he's done. Then he's finished. Because now he got what he wanted, and he got to fight the biggest names in the sport. When y'all said I was a bum, look at what I did. I fought your favorite fighter, and y'all said I would never even get close to this level of being ringside with him, let alone fighting him. Ha ha, I win. That's what he's looking for. I hate it. That's what he's looking for. We respect the grind of, hey, he is committing to the sport. Sure. Training-wise, yes, he is. Committing a lot more than Chavez almost ever did after his championship aspirations when he lost the title and the downward spiral. We give credit to that. But beyond that, we know what the game is, and we hate it. But the big wheel keeps on turning. I believe in the words of Tina Turner. I think that's Tina Turner. If I'm wrong, excuse me. But I'm telling you, don't. Jake, you better not. If you want the money that you think you want, and you want to fight against the likes of a Canelo or Tank and have still vying power, don't do it. Because one loss, now at this stage, now you can't recover from a loss at this stage no more. You lose once at this level now that you're ranked, yeah, you're done. You're done. The hype train is gone. And it's over. I guarantee you. I promise you. But now, we got to go because we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. Again, we got to talk about Jake Paul. Now we can talk about who else was on that card, which was the likes of, where is it? A fight that I was wrong about completely. Nope. My gosh. Schofield versus Tevin Farmer. Great day in the morning. Good. What the? My goodness.
Hey, look at this.
Oh.
Problems here.
Oh.
We got some problems here.
Oh, shoot. Brother, when I tell you this fight I was completely wrong about, I was right that this was going to be Schofield's most difficult challenge from standpoint of resume and talent to date. Since he wasn't going to fight Chico, this was going to be a real test. We knew what Tevin Farmer was as a fighter. We respected. I told you that 33-8 record. Don't let it fool you. This man is the truth. He is good. He is good. And the fact that Schofield knocked this brother out in one round, I mean, just blew me away. I was wrong. Hey, I was completely wrong. I said that I even picked Tevin Farmer to win. Because I truly thought that this was going to be a level of slickness and talent that Schofield may not be prepared for. And he might struggle with. Because he's only expecting Shakur to be of that slick type of style. Being able to get away from his shots while being in front of him. Good gosh, was I wrong. Great day was I wrong. My gosh. Schofield he knocked him down. He knocked him down twice. And referee had to step in, roughly a minute 30 into the fight, and stop it absolutely. I mean, you want to talk about, there ain't a whole bunch to break down. Brother, yes, there is. Because now we can say for certain, hey, we got to call it like we see it now. Schofield, he's elite. There's no long, the prospect moniker's gone. The prospect moniker, that's out of here. The building up, that's gone. No longer is it just it's a work in progress. He's getting up to that level. He's turning into a big star. Nah, he's here. He is here. This man, he is here. He is here for the world to see. He is apparent and he is concrete that everybody at the lightweight division, 135, y'all better be concerned. Because this is, right, but who gave Zepeda 2 quality fights. Now, just got destroyed by a young brother, 19-0 now, that we all had some concerns with, not just with the last fight, but with the whole drama with Shakur Stevenson, with the whole drama with what went on with Saudi Arabia, all this stuff, taking another fight, not fighting Abdullah Mason, all this different stuff was bringing up concerns with the likes of a Schofield to say, hey, brother, not only what are you about, but are you really ready for this level of test? Now, yeah, he's ready. He's more than ready, but he's here. Abdullah Mason, you better watch out. Shakur, it's going to be very interesting to see what you do against the likes of Williams and Payton now. You got some big shoes to fill in terms of performances. Not from the standpoint of greatness. You're still great, no question. But now the ire is going to be closer on you. Not the ire. Ire is wrong word. Ire is negative. The microscope of production is going to be closer on Shakur now because of what we just saw Schofield do and how close that fight was going to be between the two of them. Oh, brother. When we talk about some intrigue, this card with Shakur and Zepeda, Berlanga and Shiraz, this just got interesting. July 13th, 12th, 15th, whatever one of the teens of this month in July can't come soon enough now. Because, brother, if we see Shakur handle Zepeda, if it's in dominant fashion, we're going to want to see the fight with Schofield. If it's not in dominant fashion, we really going to want to see that fight with Schofield now. If it's not in dominant fashion, oh, shoot. But the ball is in Shakur's court from the standpoint of not necessarily confidence in who people think will win. Because most people will still have Shakur winning. Understandable. But the confidence in what Schofield won't be able to do is going to be really contingent on what Zepeda's able to do to Shakur now. If we see Zepeda have I'm talking about some consistent success against the likes of Shakur Stevenson, even in a losing effort. If we see Shakur have to, really struggle to work around that relentless offense of Zepeda, whether the talks that's going to come against Shakur versus Zepeda is going to be insane. And that's going to be that a potential, I dare say, a competitive fight with Shakur versus Zepeda is the very thing we need to make it so that we get this fight with Shakur versus Floyd Schofield. That would make it so that now that fight is even more unavoidable. If it was indeed a close competitive affair. Because we think Shakur is going to be able to handle his business. But brother, if Shakur's got to struggle, ooh, shoot. What do you do? Now we're all saying, what's Schofield going to be able to do? But Schofield got more power. Schofield might be sharper. Might be. And Schofield handled for as relentless as Zepeda was against Tevin Farmer. Zepeda wasn't able to put him, I don't believe, if I remember correctly, Zepeda wasn't able to put him down. Let alone put him out. And be this destructive. This dominant in such quick fashion. Just like that. We now got ourselves a fight. More than that, we got ourselves a risk. A real risk. A risk that wasn't there, 4 or 5 months ago when we were initially talking about this fight with Schofield and Shakur in the first place. Oh, there's some weight behind this Shakur fight with Zepeda that our eyes are glued. Oh, we're set up now. We are anticipating. Because Shakur now has a reputation to fill. He's got a criteria to fill now. It's more poignant than ever that Shakur cannot struggle with pressure against Williams Zepeda. Because if he does, not saying he will, but if he does, we're going to look at this brother Schofield and say, hey, he is right there. Not only is there no longer an avoidable reason not to fight him, but brother, we may have some people change their minds and saying, hey, we might be able to see Schofield pull off this upset. If this is what he's doing against an actual great fighter in Tevin Farmer, and this is what you did against a Williams Zepeda, which wasn't as impressive, hypothetically, if that happens. Ooh, y'all better watch out. But Schofield just put himself firmly in not just title contention, but threat level for anybody in this division, including Tank Davis. Let's not forget, brother, Tank is still the biggest name in this division, though he's done relatively nothing. Relatively nothing. This is Schofield just added himself to this litmus test this hodgepodge of talent that all now is at one division that we want to see him go against. After Lamont Welch. Now Schofield's looking like a threat. On top of Shakur, on top of Lamont, on top of Keyshawn Davis, hypothetically, even though he looks like he's going to be moving up to 140. There is a whole regime of people now that is similar, close to what we used to have when it was T.O., Devin, Ryan, and Tank all in the division. You got 4 names now that are seen as elite. 5, excuse me. If we got to put in Abdullah Mason. We got 5 names now that are seen as elite, great to elite, that just step their way into the minds of the boxing public as we are the truth. And Tank, where are you at? Because you can't, it's got to be one of them. It's got to be one of them. You're still a champion. And you got either people chasing the belt or got a belt. Mason got a belt. Keyshawn had a belt but got stripped. Now the belt's vacant. Then you got the likes of, again, Schofield, who's arrived, who is now, he deserves to be. In fact, this brother now, like I said at the top of the show, Schofield is ranked at the top of the division when it comes to Tank's belt. What is it, WBA? I believe it's WBA. Schofield's ranked number 1. He is the official number 1 contender for Tank's belt now. Tank, what you gonna do? If you ain't gonna go after it, but you can't. We don't want you fighting Jake Paul. We don't, because we want to see you take up, get a legacy. Try to get a legacy at least. If you gonna do it, this is the time. This is the place. This is the man to do it against. And he's here. Are you going to not take that test? Are you going to not take the test of Abdullah Mason? Are you going to not to take the test of the Shakur Stevensons? Who, let's not forget, the Shakur versus Tank probability is still there to happen. Because that's what Turkey said he wants to do if we see Shakur beat Zepeda. He's even said publicly that, hey man, I'm gonna be hot. I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna be mad if we see Zepeda beat Shakur. Because I really want that fight with Shakur versus Tank. That's my best plan if it's able to be made. All this stuff is moving and shaking around Tank Davis. And Tank, while still a fixture, while Tank still being a fixture of this division, with, again, business with Lamont Welch that he's going to handle. He is in 2 places at once. And here's what I mean. Tank Davis is both one of the foundations of this division, while at the same time is being forgotten by this division because he's not doing anything. At Lamont Welch rekindled the interest for a lot of people. Oh my gosh, Tank, buddy, you've been tested. What you gonna do? But if Tank doesn't go about his way of fighting after Lamont, if he wins, it ain't guaranteed. If he even beats Lamont, after Lamont Welch now, the more likely thing that we've seen from you is that you will fight Jake Paul rather than your most immediate competition. And your most immediate competition is only building up day after day after day. We've had 3 champions go from we've had 3 prospects, or 2 or 3 prospects go from prospect to champion within the span of a couple months. Just like that. We've had Schofield, again, go from high talent prospect, up and coming fighter, great young talent, to now, hey, brother, he is next in line for your belt. He is the number 1 contender. He deserves his title shot next, right now. Shoot, he can fight next month if he really wanted to, because he ain't take no damage against Tevin Farmer. He destroyed Tevin Farmer. Destroyed him. Double hooks, pushed him off, didn't let Farmer be able to, was strong enough to keep Farmer from being able to clinch up. completely, again, using angles and catching it with a straight right hand. And Terraform was gone. Didn't let him recover. Phenomenal speed. Again, it was a quick fight. But he did a bunch of stuff right within that fight. There is so much quality and growth that we saw Schofield essentially attain in one night that now he is undeniable. And now, again, going back through the list, Abdullah Mason, Floyd Schofield, Keyshawn Davis hypothetically, if he tries to make 135 again or at 140, he is still within that conversation. Shakur Stevenson. I mean, the division is now filled with some great talent. It's filled with some quality names. It's filled with some real folks. And Tank versus Schofield ain't out the picture. Tank versus anybody now is even more viable because we are waiting now on Tank to make the move after Lamont to go with these other killers that are now here. Because now there is a rogues gallery. There is a murderer's row. There is a gauntlet of talent that we want Tank to face off against. But he's got to do it. He's got to do it now. There's no excuses now. Just like with Jake Paul, and there's no excuse now that you're ranked to not at least fight another ranked fighter at cruiserweight, let alone a world champion. But at least a ranked fighter within the top 15, because now you're ranked top 15. You got to now. You got to. You're more restricted now more than ever. And you ain't fighting Anthony Joshua. We know you're not fighting Anthony Joshua. We can throw that name out the window. You're not fighting Anthony Joshua. If you couldn't hurt Chavez Jr., if you couldn't knock out Mike Tyson at 58 years old, who only had head movement but no legs, and you were landing your best punch on him, genuinely, for the majority of the night, and he wasn't going down. Brother, what makes you think you're fighting a young, spry, or excuse me, maybe not young, but a still physically in their prime, Anthony Joshua, who's been a world champion and has, even to this day, probably the second strongest punch in the whole of the division. You want to say third? Sure. You're not fighting. I know you're not fighting him. You're restricted. Just like Tank is getting restricted. What you gonna do? And you better not duck. You can't. Not now. But the smoke is here. We've been saying, who can Tank fight now? But Tank can fight 5 people. If you want to go with quality names, there's 5 people that we can say, Tank, you need to fight him, and him. Okay. Mason, Keyshawn, Shakur, Schofield. Mason, Keyshawn, Shakur, Schofield, and Davis. Again, with Davis fluctuating. At least 4 of them names. Let alone the people that are reigning as champion right now. The division's hot. We love it. And Schofield done made himself a threat that nobody can deny anymore. This was incredibly impressive. This shut me up about what the word Schofield is as a fighter. Schofield's real. Schofield is elite. Schofield belongs now firmly in those conversations with Shakur, with Tank, with, again, a fluctuating Keyshawn Davis. He is at the top of this food chain now and deserves that type of recognition. Or he's in that conversation of being at the top. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Because these lions, they coming. And they hungry. And you can't talk about yourself as the big dog on campus, the face of boxing, face of the sport, and you not do something about it. You can't. And again, you still got to handle my Welch. There's a lot of stuff going on in the lightweight division, man. I'm telling you, it's great. It's phenomenal. I love it. Let me see. Haney will get destroyed. And let me see. Vlogs, what's good with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yo, Macau B, how you doing yourself? Thanks for tuning in to the show. We are glad that you, or both of you, are indeed here. So glad with it. We get ready to move on from Schofield now to the likes of Tank David. Let me make sure I got it. I got the. Do I got the prompt set up? Do I got it? Do I have it set up? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because now it got confirmed over the weekend while I was out. Brother, Schofield and Haney, it's on. It's here. It's on and popping. Yes, sir. It's finally. It's happening. It's happening. Can you believe it? It is happening. Now, again, we had a conversation. What is a duck? What is not a duck? We are now beyond those types of talks. I showed you live video evidence of a timeline of exactly what took place publicly when it came to what was going on with this deal. Turkey gave it. Turkey asked Norman, did he want to fight? Norman said yes. Turkey asked Haney, did they want to fight? Initially, it seemed like Haney said yes. Haney comes out publicly and says, yep, this fight's going to happen in November. Bing, bang, boom. Everything's all well and good. Going to happen in Saudi Arabia. Then, roughly maybe an hour or maybe a day afterwards, then we see, the fight's off. All of a sudden, Norman's team is saying that they're ready. They're signed. They agreed. We're waiting on the Haneys to go make it happen. And the Haneys are the one that backed out. And by every account that I was able to read, it seemed like that was the truth. However, now, deal got made. No longer is it, a deal got made, and it's happening. And we getting Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. A fight that's great. I think it's a fight for a title. And a fight that, hey, we're clamoring for. We're excited. This is what we want. Clap it up. This is what we want. This is what we aspire to have. And again, my issue was with this fight not being made was Bill Haney, not Devin. Mind you, I specifically said, I'm not blaming Devin for this. Because Devin normally is not the one ducking smoke. Bill Haney, being both the mouthpiece and trainer and manager, he's a guy that most likely would not put his son in harm's way. And so more so than Devin Haney, Bill is the one who is avoiding this type of competition because he doesn't want to put his son in that level of danger. Thinking in one of the videos that he showed or that we showed on the channel, something of the saying of Bill didn't want Devin to have that type of action coming off of the recovery, not just of Ryan Garcia, but even on the backside of Jose Ramirez one. They were still getting themselves back ready. That's what it seemed to be. But now it's happening, and we're here, and we're live. Let me see. Thoughts on Jake Paul being ranked 14 by WBA? You just came in after we had just covered it in the first portion of the show. And so that was at the start of the show. We just covered. Quick synopsis. I hate it. It's not deserved, but it's happening. Chavez is not a real cruiserweight. Whoop-de-doo. You beat a bum in Chavez who is, again, fought like he's been fighting his entire career, or since his downfall in his career, was not prepared, was not ready, was not trained, was not all that stuff in the videos of him looking sharp. I told y'all don't trust it, and now you see why. He looked good for the first 5 rounds. Offensively, yes. Chavez wasn't throwing anything, yes. Still, that type of offensive fluidity we had never seen from Jake Paul for the first 5 rounds. Now, it happened. Great. Ho hump. We're happy. But then it fell apart after round 5. And he looked just like Jake Paul as a buck. And in the 3 rounds that Chavez actually tried to be offensive against, he hurt him, rocked him, and nearly knocked him down. Stiffened up his legs and had that buddy clenching up. With 3 rounds of actual work. Only 3 rounds of actual work. He would have lost this fight if Chavez actually started being offensive within the first 5 rounds. If he had. But he didn't. That's Chavez's fault. Further letting down the public and the people and himself. But Jake, it is what it is. And now he's got to fight any of the top 10 at cruiserweight or Zurdo Ramirez. And we know he'll die if he fights any of them. We know that. We also know, and again, just for those of you who were just here, I'm quickly recapping the points I brought up at the first half of the show, because we got some people that were asking about the Jake Paul fight. Just trying to fill them in before we move on to Norman versus Haney. Jake, fighting against Zurdo Ramirez, is going to lose. It's going to get knocked out. And he'll get knocked out probably within 6. Because Zurdo will most likely do the same thing Chavez did. Just let Jake Paul tire himself out. And then actually go through with his combinations, with his countering ability and his parrying, which is great. And just do an onslaught of destruction against him. Yes, he will. So we know he's going to lose that fight. But, like Macau B says, WBA trying to get a bag. There they are. They'll get a bag. They will. For the fight. They won't. He won't win the belt. But he'll get a fight. And there's more than holes in the last 3 rounds. But Jake Paul's whole game plan is if you're able to if you can just walk him down, you don't even have to beat him in the first 5 rounds. Just let him tire himself out. And then you can win. Let him tire himself out and force himself on the back foot. Because you don't even have to try to beat him. He will beat himself because he has no gas tank. And he's just like Deontay Wilder. He reverts back to the stuff that he's comfortable with because he can't keep up his technique forever. His technique ain't even all that great. Let alone something that Zurdo needs to be worried about. And then boom, gets knocked out and gets beat. The only other person that he's going to fight, that he can potentially fight against, now that he's ranked in A division, is potentially Badu Jack. And Badu Jack would knock him out quicker than we see Zurdo knock him out. And Badu Jack seen as the worst of the champions that Jake Paul can fight against at cruiserweight. And Badu Jack stylistically would kill Jake Paul within 4 rounds. Zurdo would kill him within 7. Because Zurdo will let Jake Paul linger around just for a little bit. He'll toy with him. He'll play with him. Before ultimately, using his combinations, the fluidity, the parry, walking them down to overwhelm him, and then boom, shots to the body, to the head, touch up the gloves like he was doing against drop kicks, and then boom, big hook. Touch him up again, big hook. Keep Jake Paul always engaged defensively, and then boom, land something he ain't seeing. Next thing you know, Jake Paul goes down and is out. Badu Jack will just try to run through you within 3 rounds. He will. I'm not saying Badu Jack's better than Zurdo. I'm saying both of them, same thing. Just different application of how to beat him. That's what's going to happen. I tell you, that's what will happen. That's what will happen. And it's just, yeah. He ain't got a shot against both of them. But regardless of which, he's a bump. He's a bump. But he's getting these opportunities because he's getting paid. Because we hate watch. That's what we do. As long as the undercards keep popping like they have been the past few fights, Jake Paul, or the past few Jake Paul cards, and he keeps bringing in money and odds on sport, I'm with it. And again, I know we gotta cover Devin Haney. We need to cover Devin versus Norm. We can talk about this more in the championship rounds at the end of the show. Absolutely, yes, we can. The very last thing about Jake Paul in this whole fight, Paul is good and bad for the sport. We hate what he is doing for the sport, but we love what he is bringing to the sport. The cards under him are great, are phenomenal. The buddy who knocked down Tank and sparring just got a last-minute KO. I think his name was Griffin, yeah, which was incredible. We get great fights on the undercards of Jake Paul. It's just him we hate to see. We want these types of cards consistently without Jake Paul being there. But with him there is the only way that we get it on these cards to happen. So, hey, I get what you're saying. Just know, once Jake Paul ends, and he will end, quicker than you may realize, it's going to be. I'm sorry, I got to mean, not Rodriguez, not Griffin. You're right. Again, I got like 8 different topics I'm trying to keep up with. Griffin got knocked out by Julian Rodriguez. Rodriguez was the brother who knocked down Tank and Spar. Or that's the story. Which, wow, hey, impressive. Rodriguez landed a shot, a close, quick inside hook off of a flurry after he had rocked Griffin with the hook of his own at the end of the round. To ultimately put that brother down and make it so he couldn't get up. It was incredible. I was watching that fight. It was great. Phenomenal. Come from behind victory. But these cards are great. Jake Paul is helping. He's helping women's boxing. Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. That's happening later on this year. Great fight. It's just Jake Paul. These are being made because he is indeed helping to put on good quality fights. It's just, we just don't want him as the forefront of why these fights are happening. Because continually, he will keep on fighting in his own career at these bum levels. Though he's bringing in a bunch of top talent beneath him. That is great. That is phenomenal. And in many cases, should be their own main events. But regardless of which, we love what he's doing for the sport, but we hate what he is for the sport. That's the thing. Love what he's doing. Hate what he represents. But love what he's bringing about because of what he represents. It's a counterproductive solution. We don't want him here, but without him here, some of these fights we wouldn't be getting. But with him here, we keep getting the fights with him involved that we don't want to see at all. Undeserved opportunities. Scamming the public. Disrespecting our legends of the game just because of a quick buck. And continuing to cheat the system. But it works. I hate it. But it works nonetheless. So that's where we are. But regardless of which, now, fully, Haney versus Norman. Covered it. Gotta talk about it. Haney fighting Norman. Great. Love it. Thank gosh. It's happening. Haney versus Norman. Norman is going to destroy Devin Haney. Yes, he will. Norman is going to kill Devin Haney. In my estimation. The initial ducking claims were not more so against Haney, but was against Bill Haney, rather than Devin Haney. Because again, Bill was the one that seemed to be, from what I understand, wasn't necessarily Devin Haney was trying to duck Norman. This time it's more so Bill trying to save his son from going up against that level of monster. But now they both agree. Everything's happening. Fights all well and good. And we don't got to worry about it. We don't even, trying to get some double glass. We didn't got to have a conversation. Because all duck talk, bumping, it's out the window. The fight's going down. And now, like we said, Devin is continuing that trend. I don't care how you feel about it. I don't care what you say about it. I don't care what you think his quality of fighting ability is or is not. This man does not duck smoke when it comes to real threat contenders to his title and to his own livelihood. We have to give credit. The brother does not avoid competition. Devin Haney continues to step up and take tests against big time names. We can say that. And he's living up to their expectations. That's what got him the undisputed title. That's what got him the fight with Lomachenko. That's what had him moving to the fight progress. Initially, we were saying, ooh, can he really be the same fighter? That's what has him fighting against the likes of Ryan Garcia. But of all of the four kings of that bygone era, when it came to Ryan, Devin, Tank, Tio, coming up in the divisions, it's been Devin and Ryan that have been at least fighting the majority, or at least some, at least half of the big four, or of the other respective greats in the division at that point in time. They've been the only two that keep on taking on either each other or everybody else. That's why we keep saying Devin Haney's got one of the best resumes of anybody in the division, because he is fighting everybody, which is great. With that being said, that brother getting beat. He getting destroyed, I promise you. Let me see, Macau B. From my understanding, it was Norman management holding up negotiations that came from Brian Norman. Now, see, so we're getting some conflicting reports. Perfectly fine. Like I said, right now, what I know is what I know. If this is in fact true, then that's problematic as well. Because if they were the ones that wanted this fight, and unless they were just getting completely lowballed, I'm talking about disparagingly lowballed with the amount of money they were going to get for this fight against Devin Haney after getting the knockout of the year against Jin Sasaki. Unless it's that, if they were the ones that stopped the progress of this fight, hey, that's problematic. Again, what I know is only what I know. If this is new, this great, phenomenal. Until I can verify it, we'll take everything as from this point in time as legitimate, but with what you call it? What's it called? We'll take everything right now at face value, but anything can change at any point in time in terms of which one is the real report. From what I understand, it was Devin Haney's side, more so Bill Haney, that was holding up negotiations. Other side, it was Brian Norman. So whoever, we'll say whoever. Let me see. Brian Norman explained it on Coach Malachi. It was about the money. It was something. Hold on. Brian Norman explained it on Coach Malachi. It was about the money. It was something else the management wanted. I believe they didn't want to go to Saudi either. Oh, they didn't want to go to Saudi Arabia. Either way, props to the Normans for getting it done. Oh, okay. So it wasn't about the money. It was about going over to Saudi Arabia and fighting over there. Okay. Now, me personally, take the fight. If you're Norman, if you were Norman, if I was Norman's manager, and I got to fight with Devin Haney, but I don't care where I fight. I'm fighting. Because I beat him. I beat Norman, or excuse me, I beat Haney clean. I don't care where it's at. Brother, it's up. I'm now one of the biggest faces in the division. I don't care where we go. I don't care if it's in Alaska. But give me that fight by any means necessary so I can beat him and take my place as, if I win, as one of the biggest threats in this whole division. And one of the three biggest names in not just in this division, but in multiple other divisions. All of a sudden, I get my fight with Boots a lot quicker because I'm a commodity. I get some title shots even quicker because I'm a commodity. Unification becomes a whole lot easier because now I can start becoming the A side for a lot of conversations. I wish that wasn't a concern. That wouldn't have been a concern for me if I was management. But again, holding the conversation, it was Norman's management trying to take over management. Ultimately, the Normans were able to say exactly, we want the fight no matter what. So great. Phenomenal. Fights being made. Everybody's happy. But seemingly everybody's happy. Now, we can talk about the fight. The fight's on, and Haney's going to get destroyed. He's going to die. He's going to get destroyed. He's going to get killed. He's going to get killed. I am telling you all right now, I don't know what we can see Bill Haney do to stop Brian Norman from being able to come through and destroy. I don't know what he can do. Unless you all can enlighten me, I don't know a thing that Devin Haney can do to go and stop the likes of Brian Norman. I even said that Bill Haney was right in not making this fight happen initially. If it was him that was, again, now that with the further evidence, we understand that. But at the start of this, before any talks we even coming through, I told you all, but Bill Haney should not let Devin Haney fight him. Because if this Devin Haney fights against that Brian Norman without any extra additive and being able to see, okay, was this a one-time thing with how you fought against Ramirez, or is this a consistent thing with you now? No. Without that evidence, brother, there's no confidence in me saying that you can be Brian Norman. None whatsoever. I don't know if he gets destroyed. This is the biggest stage Norman has been on, and he don't know because of Haney's last performance if he has to pop at 147 or punch resistance. If I hear what you're saying, but I believe that you're wrong. And here's why. I believe that you're wrong in this type of statement. Because we unequivocally know that at this stage in Devin Haney's career, it is too much evidence that the punching ability of Devin Haney is not something that is needed to be concerned about. Sure, anything can land, and something that lands in the right spot can take you out. But Brian Norman at 147 just went up against Jen Sasaki, who is one of the more powerful punchers in this division. He is. And again, I was telling you all about the skill level, the threat level, the recklessness that could be a real threat to the likes of Norman. And we saw what this buddy did to Norman. In the heat of fire, Devin Haney has no real ability to put any physical toll on the likes of Brian Norman Jr. The only viable way that we know that Haney can be able to win this fight is with his skill, more specifically his feet and his jab. We just saw against a relatively good puncher in Jose Ramirez, who has been a champion while older, still he got some power. We just saw him not even use his jab effectively and relegate himself to doing the bare minimum. Part of the conversation of running versus boxing was that performance, which was nothing, absolutely nothing that we can take of great account, because it wasn't a good performance at all. It was a bad win. Just like with Shakur versus De Los Santos. It was a bad win. A very bad win. So now that that's the case, there is nothing about me that shows that Devin Haney has any pop, any power, any physical ability, and even the luxury of having his skills be able to keep him away from the dominating walk-down nature of a Brian Norman Jr. and to not allow for him to not get knocked out. There is nothing. I see nothing. That's why I say he gets destroyed. Even his best weapon, he's not using. And even his best weapon is relegated by his ability to be able to out-physical most of his opponents. That's what it is. Now he's going up against Brian Norman, who, just like before the PEDs, the biggest thing about what we saw with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, which is why that fight was intriguing, was because Devin Haney was better technically, but Ryan Garcia was on his level and above him physically. This is before the PEDs, before anything, based on raw data of what we were seeing this buddy do on his own, without any extra incentives. This is what he was doing. Now we see this man against Brian Norman, who we can say at minimum has power on par with Ryan Garcia. Some may say even more pop. Some say he got more pop after what he did to Jin Sasaki, making him forget 6 weeks of memory. Not knowing what happened going back to what was it, May 17th. Didn't know what happened. Forgot it all. We can at least say at minimum he is on par physically with him. And a league's better boxer than Ryan Garcia. Yes, he is. And physically, he dominates Devin Haney in every physical aspect. Maybe, and I mean maybe, except for foot speed. And even then, it's comparable enough that Devin Haney won't be able to run around the ring the way that he did against Jose Ramirez ever again. He won't be able to do it. And there's nothing that he can do damage-wise to keep Brian Norman off of him. Couple that with the countering ability and the shown poise and being able to read and react that we saw Norman use against Jin Sasaki, that has elevated every single win of his career. The maturity in the ring, the perception that's been better in the ring every single fight. There's nothing that Brian Norman can't do to Devin Haney. There's nothing that Brian Norman cannot do to Devin Haney. But there is nothing that Devin Haney can do against Brian Norman. At least from there's nothing. There isn't a thing. Devin Haney's jab, Norman can either walk through it or use defense and make a miss and get around it. Or trade with the jab and beat him to it. Punches to the body to stop the legs, we know Norman can do that. Shots on the inside within the clinch, we know Norman can do that. Physically controlling where Devin Haney's able to go, we know Norman can do that. What is it that Devin Haney can do? And I don't see anything. I don't see a thing. I think this is going to be a real domination. I truly do. But let me tell you what you got to say. Sasaki was a perfect opponent for Norman Jr. and Haney's jab was a boring win, but a bad win is extreme. His jab disrupted Ramirez's timing and allowed him to turn the corner all night long. You're right. But I'm going to tell you this. It's a bad win because Haney was so respective of the power of Jose Ramirez that he did not even fight in the same manner that he fought against George Kambosos, that he fought against Jorge Linares. Shoot, that he tried to fight against Ryan Garcia with. He put up a better fight against Ryan Garcia than he did against Jose Ramirez because he used everything that he could. But he went so minimalistic just to save face so he could get away with the win that I said this could potentially hurt Devin Haney as a fighter because it will turn Devin Haney into a fighter that now is more willing to become reclusive in order to get the job done. If he feels, okay, I can't hang with you in a physical aspect, so I got to do what I got to do to survive. But that type of survival, or I got to do what I need to do to win. But that type of mentality with this type of fighting style is going to lead you to get hurt and knocked out. Because now everything that you could do to keep yourself safe and to win now is being seen as too much of a risk for you to need to use, which only opens yourself up to more destructive means. And part of the reason why he was able to do what he did against Jose Ramirez is because naturally he was so far and away faster than him that, yeah, I can use my jab with a Jose Ramirez that was too slow to get by. And I can, even without using my jab, I can pivot out and just get away at any time that I want to. We get that. And that's all well and good. But it can't. That is not going to work. Because the gap between Jose and Devin Haney, from a speed perspective, is nowhere close to the minuscule gap that we see with Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. It's nowhere. It's nowhere. Devin Haney, if he tries to do that same thing against Norman again, he's going to get caught. If Devin Haney tries to do anything symbolic of that fight with Jose Ramirez, he is going to get destroyed. We know this. He's got a better chance of winning if he fights like Kambosos, or if he fought like he did against Kambosos. Shoot, if he fought like he did against Lomachenko, in all honesty. Just to try. But being that respectful to power, to the point that you are reducing even your jab, which is your best weapon, to a very much sporadic type of inventory use. No, it's not going to work. I know it's not going to work. You know why? Because everybody is saying, brother, if anybody else that wasn't Jose Ramirez, that was an elite competitor, was fighting against you on that night, you would have gotten knocked out. You would have. It was so bad that across the board, it is consistent that anybody you put in front of Devin Haney on that night would have beat Devin Haney of that elite caliber. Shoot, even if Rolly Romero, as crazy as it is to say, even Rolly, oh no, wrong button. Even Rolly, we're even saying Rolly Romero potentially would have been able to beat that Devin Haney, who was that much of a conservative fighter. Out of, again, per the game plan that we played a clip about this. Bill Haney made that game plan. And he made that game plan with the intention of trying to shut up the fans by saying, you can't say anything because I won, so win by any means necessary. He said it. He said it himself. He said it to Showbiz Do You Know on his show. He admitted it when he was confronted about it. That was Bill Haney's game plan. And Bill Haney wanted Devin to fight like that. Which, hey, Follow the coach. Okay, fine. It was still a horrible game plan because now you lost a lot of respect from the sense of what people feel you can do against the best of the best because you went so far in the extreme of just trying to get the win, to shut fans up, that now the fans are louder than ever. And that's problematic. That's why every win is not a good win. Every loss is not a bad loss. There's nuances to these types of conversations, and this is one of them. It's one of them. But let me see. He was respecting Ramirez's power, or was he fighting to make it to the Garcia rematch? That's the thing. Both. Because of again, Bill Haney talked about this. The noise with the left hook and wanting to get the rematch, on top of not wanting to put Devin Haney in that situation of getting caught, rocked, and potentially hurt again, knocked down like he did before, all bled into the game plan that Bill Haney made. On top of, they wanted to make sure that they got there to get the Haney versus Garcia rematch. Both of these statements are true as to why the game plan took place. Both of these are true. He didn't want to get destroyed like he did against Ryan Garcia. Though, again, PEDs, we get it. But still, didn't want that performance to happen again. Wanted to shut up the people that were trying to clown him. And wanted to make it to the Ryan Garcia fight. All three of those things are valid and true as to why he did what he did. Why that game plan was indeed the game plan that Bill Haney made for Devin Haney. And why Devin Haney fought like that against Jose Ramirez. All that's true. But it's still bad. It's still bad. Because it didn't accomplish any of those things. Getting a win like this didn't accomplish any of those things. From the standpoint of right now. And so, let me see. Manny Garcia, what's good with it? How you doing? Hey, thanks for tuning into this show. Please, if you're here, leave a like on the stream. Go ahead, leave a like on the stream. Get and share the show with the public. We want to get conversations. We want to get people coming in. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you like what we're doing, we do this every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, as well as we do live streams with fights going around over the weekend when we have the opportunity to. And if you want to support the show, we got means, Cash App, PayPal. Until we get monetization, these are the best ways to do it. If you want to support, give whatever you can to the show, help to keep the lights on, help support, help invest back into what we do with this whole setup, with this show, and hey, help make it bigger and better to make it the biggest show in all the globe for you all, the boxing and just sports fandom as a whole. Please, if you do, be so appreciative and hey, make this show better. And hey, help join the empire, and come on, help us build us grow. Help us to grow. Help us build up an empire. That's what I was trying to say. There we go. But let me keep on reading what you all got to say. Manny Garcia, Norman is going to whoop Haney. Yes, he is. At least in my perspective. That's how I feel about it right now. The point I'm making is, do you really think he fights Norman like he fought Ramirez? They came up with a game plan. Dev executed it. It's not like we have never seen Dev fight like that before. You're wrong. We haven't. We've seen him clinch up and stop the walk down nature of Kambosos. But we were still seeing him use his jab better than arguably we've ever seen him use it. Post Kambosos fighting against Teofimo Lopez and beating him. And then doing it again down in Australia. We've seen this man also go through and be sleek and be great while still being defensively sound. We've seen this man go to war countless times. Like when he got rocked against Jorge Linares and then came back and still won. When he went and fought against Lomachenko in one of the fights of the year. Arguably won that fight. Again, I think Lomachenko won, but regardless of which, put on an incredible display. And it further validated, hey, he deserves to be in pound for pound. This is the first time we've seen him so conservative with his, honestly, with anything that he did in that fight. That we're comparing that fight to the William Skull versus Canelo fight. If we're looking at that fight with William Skull, and we're looking at the fight with Devin Haney, and we're saying they look similar, that's a problem. Because Devin Haney has never looked like that before. There is no fight that has looked like a William Skull fight in Devin Haney's history. There isn't. There is not. But this is the only fight that has looked like that. Like I said, this is an anomaly. This is not how Devin Haney normally fights. It's an anomaly. It's a unique circumstance. It's a bad circumstance, but a unique one nonetheless. What our issue is because this is so far away from the normal defensive pot-shotting, slick technical work that we normally see Devin Haney do. So far and away, and it's such a abysmal display of the best that we know Devin Haney can be, which we know is indeed great. We weren't calling for tanking Devin in the past for nothing. Because Devin Haney, the way that he was fighting in the past, looked like he could give Tank some real trouble, on top of the height and physical abilities that he brought to the table as being a naturally big guy in the division. We weren't calling for that fight for nothing. His brother wasn't pound for pound for anything. But this was so out of left field and so away from what we know Devin Haney is that we know that this is the worst we've ever seen Devin Haney. Is it even worse than what we saw with Ryan Garcia? Because Ryan Garcia just beat him. But he was still fighting in some way, shape, or form close to the Devin Haney that we know we've seen that's been at the mountaintop. This was completely awry. It was completely awry. And so we don't want this Devin Haney to come into that fight with Brian Norman. But if this is the last thing that we've seen, and it's such a jarring issue, and we don't know whether or not he is fighting like this all the time against power post Ryan Garcia. Because it's the only fight we got after Ryan Garcia, and he fought like this. With even more danger in front of Devin Haney. And an even more volatile entity in the eraser, which is Brian Norman Jr., who is better than Jose Ramirez in every way. What is he going to be able to do against that type of fighter? If this was the game plan against somebody that had a third of the ability of a Brian Norman Jr., because you wanted to get away with the win and do just what you could to get to survive. Because you still want that Ryan Garcia rematch. You still want to stay undefeated. You still want all of this stuff. There's still stuff to lose. You still want to shut up the fans, don't you? But now you're going up against an even more dangerous threat. The most physically dangerous that you've ever been against in your career. And against somebody that was a third of him. In terms of a third of Brian Norman and Jose Ramirez, you fought like that against Ramirez. What game plan can you make against Norman if against a third of the talent, this was the best that you came up with? That's why I have concerns. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying right now, everything that I'm seeing evidence-wise is showing me I don't know what else can happen. Because I don't know what else you're going to be able to do. Because everything that you would want to do from a game plan perspective that I can think of to make for Devin Haney, it would not work. So again, just for me, that's my thing. Let me see Al Booker. He's just jumping straight. Excuse me. Hold on. Time out. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on a second. Yeah. Let me see. Because he's jumping straight to Brian Norman Jr., I'm starting to think he fought extremely safely to get to the Ryan fight. Yes, he did. Yet I completely agree. Like I said, I think it's both. I think I said this right after the fight. He wanted to just get to the Ryan Garcia fight, but also I truly believe they were really leery of getting caught with anything again against somebody with any respective level of power, at least initially. Now jumping in against a bigger threat who is a better fighter, with this being the only instance of post-Ryan Garcia that we've seen of you, doesn't give me good confidence as to what type of game plan you're going to have going into this fight against a brother that we all recognize that game plan will not work. And a couple of game plans that you can use that you might have used against other boxers also won't work, most likely, against Brian Norman Jr. So there's just some concern. That's all. Not even cool, man. They're not even on the same level as Norman Jr. Well, in terms of who? In terms of Lomachenko? Lomachenko, pound for pound, was number one. Ryan Garcia, of course, he wasn't on that same level of what we see with Norman right now as a fighter, but he was still big threat, big star, a great name. He is a good fighter. He is. Again, right now, Norman's just peaking. He's only 24. He's going to get better, which is insane. But still, I don't think it's fair using those as barometers, because that's all we got. This is what we got. All 32 fights. That's all we got against the likes of Devin Haney when he goes up against Norman. I don't think I'm not trying to compare the level, but I'm trying. But like this is what we're going on. This is all we got to go on. At least for me. Let me see. Since he's jumping straight to Brian Norman Jr. now, I do think he will be fighting with more fighting spirit. I hope so. Again, let's be clear. While I think he's going to get beat in terms of Devin Haney, I truly believe Devin Haney is going to get knocked out. I do. My concern is that he is going to fight like he did against Ramirez. If he doesn't, I am happy. I am glad. The only way that he can win this fight is if he doesn't fight like that fight against Ramirez. Let me be clear. The only way that he can win this fight against Norman is if he does not fight like he does against Ramirez. Because if he does fight like that, he will get knocked out. There will not be an end of the bell. Because he will go to sleep. And he's not getting up. He's got a bunch of heart. Yes, he does. He gets up from every time he got knocked down. Yes, he has. We never questioned that. But he won't be able to get up if he fights like he did against Jose Ramirez, against Norman. But you are going to sleep. You won't be. It's not going to happen. Either you're going to get stopped or you're going to get knocked out. Point blank. If you fight like that. If you don't, hey, you got some shots at winning. My only thing is, if you fight like we normally see Devin Haney fight, which is sublime, technical and great, jab, footwork and all, a consistent jab, not being this tentative when it comes to being faced with power. The best version of Devin Haney. Great. Even with that best version, just because of who Norman is, there is a very limited scale of game plans to beat him. That I don't know if Devin Haney, even with the best fighter that we know him as, is going to be able to implement those to be able to get away from the power, as well as fight off Norman to make him stop using said power. That's the issue. That's the biggest thing, more than anything. Beyond just him fighting like Jose Ramirez. If he doesn't, great, love it. But even with that, I don't know what you can do to stop what Norman's going to bring to the table against you. He's not Jin Sasaki, absolutely. He's not going to just engage outright. We understand that completely. Completely different fighters. The Brian Norman fight versus Sasaki will not look like the fight with Devin Haney. Almost assuredly. We get that. But even still, even with that difference in style, I don't know what Devin Haney can do to keep Brian Norman off of him from being able to be offensively effective. He can't clinch him. He can't infight with him. Even jabbing with the brother is a danger. Because with Norman shown, hey, I can counter you. I can count and I can reach you. Don't forget, I got long arms just like you. And I'm physically stronger than you. And as big as you, if not bigger. So all those physical advantages that we've seen you have for the majority of your career that has helped to make you this dominant, you don't have that against me. You don't. So what you gonna do? When your jab can be countered by my jab. When my straight right can land on you and trade with you and hurt you more without you being safe. When I can keep up with you when you do angle out and meet you where you're going with the hook or meet you where you're going with a right hook to the body, land an uppercut hypothetically from distance, and even break through your guard when you do get put in the corner. And I can keep you there. And I can push you off like Schofield did to Tevin Farmer. Now, what are you going to be able to do to counter that? That's where I don't know. I don't see anything. I can't think of anything for him to be able to do. So I don't think he'll be able to be successful. I truly don't, at least not for me. And so, but again, hopefully, you're right. He's got that fighting spirit. And like I said, he doesn't duck smoke. Ain't ducking it now. Great, love it. Consistent what he's been doing. Fighting Hall of Famers, fighting legendary fighters, fighting for titles, consistently taking on people in their hometown, in their home country. Not ducking any smoke. We love it. He's keeping true to what we know Devin Haney is. No question about it. But there's still some concern that he won't be able to beat this cat. I don't think he'll be able to beat him. I just don't think it. That's one point he fought Ramirez like that because he could obviously, he can't fight like that and win. There'll be another kind of game plan. So yeah, you're right. I see your point. I just don't know what that other game plan can be because I can't see it. If people remember correctly, they said of all the game plan, they said all the same things before he fought Regis, and we saw how that fight went. You're right. Absolutely. My biggest thing with Regis Prograis was just the out and out power. The boxing ability of Devin Haney, we knew was better than Prograis. It was. Indeed it was. But even on the night of the fight, Devin Haney was still as big. No, excuse me. He was bigger than Prograis on that fight night. Longer than him as well. All the advantages that he's had, he still had at 140 when he moved up from 135. The power was more substantial, and he handled it well. Love it. Absolutely. No question. We give all respect to it. We talked about it on the show. I said that he was the best 140 pounder after that win against Prograis because it was incredibly impressive at that point in time. But now this is a different story. This is a different realm. 147 from 140 is not the same, especially with the deficiencies that we know Devin Haney has. I am not saying that he can't be successful, but you have to understand there is a very much valid reason to be concerned with Devin Haney in this fight. Well and above what we see with Prograis. Well and above what we see with Prograis. Because Brian Norman Jr. is not Prograis in the slightest. If Devin beats Norman and is successful, like we do always on this show, we give props. He shut us up. But if he's not, and if he gets dominated, it's most likely going to be because of these reasons that we're talking about right now. Most likely. Let me see. Devin cannot and will not fight like this against Brian Norman Jr. He knows he can't win. He knows that can't win against Brian Norman. So yeah. So let's ask the question. What will be the game plan that you see? We know he can't fight like that. We know he shouldn't fight like that. We assume that he won't. But even then, there is some skepticism that he still may. But if we, hypothetically, he doesn't fight like that at all, I do not know of a game plan that can beat him. If you could think of a game plan for Norman to beat Devin Haney, or excuse me, for Devin Haney to beat Brian Norman, put it in the chat. We can discuss it. We can talk about it. We can be proud. Again, this is an open forum. It's an open discussion. We can have it all. I want to hear how you see Devin Haney beating Brian Norman. Because right now, for me, I don't see any way of any game plan I can recall or even formulate that would not end with Brian Norman knocking out Devin Haney. I can't see anything. I can't see a thing that could go and beat Norman if you are Devin Haney, at least for me. But let me see. Let me read you all got to say. Listen, no matter what happens, I give Devin credit for taking Brian Norman. He's see, hey, absolute. Like I am never, I'm never gonna say this brother ain't got the guts. I ain't gonna say he ain't got guts. I ain't gonna say he ain't got heart. I ain't gonna say no. I can critique all I want about what I think this fight's gonna be with Devin Haney versus Norman. I can do that all day. That doesn't take away anything that's good. Now, don't take away the great stuff. Not just the best version of Devin Haney, but what he is as a fighter. That don't take away anything. That don't take away a doggone thing. Not at all. Oh my gosh. Not at all. Oh, it's a dog to take on all these names. We love it. We want it. We need it. This is great. We'll never call him. We can't call him anything. Because he always does answer the call. And we will never disrespect. Let me see. Armando Rosado, what's good with you? How you doing? Thanks for tuning into the show. Salute from Puerto Rico. How you doing? Salute here from the States and down south. Glad to see you tuning in. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. Again, if you haven't already, leave a like on the stream. Hey, hopefully you're enjoying the show. Share it with whoever you can. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you know what goes on this channel every time we show up and pop up right here on YouTube. And hey, like I said before, getting close to monetization. But until we do, if you want to support, Cash App, PayPal, links in the description as well. Anything we'll do up until we get super chats and stuff, which again, less than 100 hours away of watch time away from getting it. But if you could give something, it would mean the world to me. Help keep the lights on. Help invest back into this show. Because again, we are funded by you all. Y'all are the barometer. That's it. That's all we got. So if y'all can give, it would be a great support. But again, I do this because I love y'all. Do this because this is my job. But also, I love doing this because this is, hopefully I'm giving you the great analysis that, hey, you deserve. You ain't got to agree. You can disagree. You can hate me. You can argue, absolutely. But as long as you're entertained, as long as you're having fun, as long as you're watching, hey, hopefully I'm making y'all, hopefully, you're liking your time here, even if you ain't liking what I'm saying. But regardless of which, let me see what you all got to say as we continue to go forth. Albuquerque, so let me see. Clinch inside, or clinch inside, constantly stick the jab out from the outside. Always be on alert for the hook over the top. Understand him. Let me see. The game plan I see is Devin making him respect his power and outboxing him. If Norman has to respect the counterpunch and knows he is willing to exchange, it will allow Dev to outbox him. Okay, all right, this is good. Let me see. That's how I would do it, and I would box in a similar That's how I would do it, and I box in a similar style as Devin. Okay, all right, this is good. This is great. This is phenomenal. Let me see. Armando Rosado, experienced bro. Norman loads up before power punches. Easier said than done, but it's possible. I see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying. So hey, these are some valid game plays. Now, I'll start with you. Clinching is smart. Sticking the jab is smart from the outside. Being on the alert for the hook is absolutely. All of this is correct. The only issue is clinching is not going to work against Brian Norman like it has in the past. Because Norman's got the stamina and the strength to fight out, not just fight out of the clinch, but to negate the clinch outright. And similar to what happened with Ryan Garcia, when Devin Haney tried to clinch there, Devin Haney got caught exiting the clinch. And because with all the arms and limbs moving, Ryan Garcia was intentional to throw in not just the hook, but any shot to get out of that clinch with Devin Haney on the exit. And boom, got knocked down. Somewhat akin to what we saw with Benavidez when he fought against Cato Plant and what he does routinely against all opponents. When he goes and in the clinch, he'll fight in, and out of the clinch, he will make sure to always throw. And he can beat you to the punch every time. So I don't see the clinch working because of those reasons. Sticking the jab absolutely is smart. At the same time, one, how much will he throw the jab before it potentially becomes too predictable? And two, how much will he be able to throw the jab? And if it does get caught and exchanged by Brian Norman, now, if that gets negated, what else is there once the jab is gone? That's the concern. And I got a strong inkling that Norman's going to be able to handle that jab that Devin Haney throws out. I really do. Again, I could be wrong. I'm just telling you from what I see. I really think we're going to see Norman handle that jab better than you all may expect. I'm telling you. It's going to be interesting. But always be on alert for the left hook over the top. Yeah, absolutely. Incredibly smart. No question, because that's the biggest thing. And again, he's fixed that now. He's keeping the phone. He's continually having the telephone to his ear. We love it. Absolutely. The only thing with that, I don't want it to be so egregious, looking out for that left hook, that you get set up for other punches because you're so honed in on that one punch. We've seen that before with other boxers, where you get so zoned in on trying to negate that one shot that it's the other shot that now you don't see coming. That's what takes you out. And that's what then puts your lights out. Or you're so afraid of that one punch coming that now you overcorrect and you get caught with it anyway. We've seen that too. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying these are potential options that can take place that can make this fight go on the other end of the spectrum for Norman. And let's see. And for Devin Haney to outbox him and respect the counterpunching, this is the best of everything I can think of. This is the best thing that can happen. But this is also the worst thing that can happen if you're Devin Haney. This is the most straightforward and effective way that I could see Devin Haney getting this fight on his side. But at the same time, brother, it's not just the most dangerous, but it's the most detrimental. Because again, we saw him trade with Ryan Garcia, and he got caught with the left hook. We wouldn't even use the left hook in this fight. If Norman can trade with any punch against Devin Haney, and if we see that the power indeed is non-existent, and he can't get the respect of a Norman, and he can't keep him away to respect that power and stop not reckless offense, but stop the offense of Norman from being able to say, okay, yeah, I can commit to stuff and not have to worry because you're not going to do anything to me. Now I'm scared that we're going to see a reenaction of that fight with Ryan Garcia, but this time cleanly, because Norman is a stronger fighter than Ryan. Norman got more pop than Ryan. He ain't got much speed, but he got more pop. He does. That's sound. And trading with Norman is a risk that if you fail, you don't just show your hand, but you also now open yourself up to the biggest thing that you don't want to happen. It's a game plan that if you do get the respect, it works out beautifully. But the likelihood of Devin Haney getting the respect of Brian Norman Jr., I don't see it. Because at 147, and again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But at 147, it's a different type of game than beating Progress at 140. It's a different type of step up against this type of real talented animal that, mind you, we're not just comparing Norman to everybody for nothing. Norman's biggest op right now is Boots Ennis. And we're saying that nobody except for Boots at 147 was a threat for him. Nobody. And he proved it when he beat Stanley Ellis the way he did. Norman was the only viable name that anybody was saying, yeah, this brother can potentially beat Boots Ennis. And beyond that, there is no one. He had already separated himself from the division. Already. At 24, 23 years old. At that point in time, and still right now, who is seen as arguably one of the three most physically gifted athletes in the sport right now. and most dominant entities that we have in Boots Ennis, who we are comparing to the likes of Roy Jones Jr. in a vague semblance because of the unique it factor that he brings to the table every time that he fights. You don't get compared to that for nothing. You don't. You don't. You don't get those types of comparisons without actually having the talent visually and with names to back it up. And right now, Norman's got that. So I can't, even this game plan is the most, it is the most effective way. Counterpunching the brother. I don't see it being able to happen. I really don't. I don't know this if he does it and it works, great. It's tough for me to have this as a viable option for Devin Haney as what we know about him right now. Especially moving up and weight against one of the, at this point in time, with Boots out of the division as the heaviest puncher. And right now, the best fighter outside of Boots, who's at 154 in this division right now. I get it. It's not that it's a bad game plan. I just think for Devin Haney, it's a game plan that can work. Because what needs to work for that to work is he's got to have enough power in the first place. Not that he's got to take the power, but he's got to have it in the first place. And he doesn't. For me, he just doesn't. And so that's where I just can't see it. Experience, bro. Norman loads up on a lot of power. Punches is easier said than done, but it's possible. Norman used to load up. He did. Jin Sasaki fight, he didn't load up nearly as, now again, on that last parrying shot, he did. Because he had the opening. He had the opening to load up fully. But Norman doesn't load up as much as he used to now. Now, he can throw everything from the shoulder with the same amount of pop and counter you without having to telegraph. Now, he can slip and punch and counter without having to load up on shots now. Like I said, I said this after the knockout. He has been able to refine his mechanics and become mature as a fighter very quickly from his last fight to this fight. 2 fights ago to now, Norman is completely different. He is doing stuff, the small stuff that we always talk about on this show. He's doing the small stuff now on a more effective scale that's making him even more detrimental. That is only enhancing his ability. Every time he countered Jin Sasaki, it was never with shots that loaded up. It was always off of read and react, but it was instantaneous. More than that, it was always efficient. No punch that Norman threw against Sasaki was wasted. No punch. Not a hook, not an uppercut, not a jab. Everything was calculated while still being dominated. Sure, he took risk, yes, because he's going to. He's got power. Of course, you're stupid not to use it. Even Tank takes risks and loads up on stuff. We don't complain about him missing, do we? No. You know why? Because most of the time, if he is loading up, but it's because he's got you. Norman, right now, even when he does have you, doesn't go reckless abandon, especially not now. Especially going up against somebody like a Jin Sasaki who is reckless in his own right. And if Norman did do the consistent loading up, telegraphing stuff that he used to do, now he could have potentially been in a worse state. That fight could have been even closer against Jin Sasaki if he did fight like that, but he doesn't anymore. And he showed it on that night. He's a different man. He's a different fighter. He fights with the maturity of a person that's been in the game 10, 15 years. He thinks the game differently now on a better, it's still a destructive scale, but it's a scale that's now calculated. More than that, it's tactical. And he will destroy you, but he'll go back to the well with stuff that works. He'll set up traps better than ever before. He is able to fight back foot and front foot. He can track you and still he can pepper you and it still hurts. And then load up with stuff on the ends of exchanges when you don't expect it. He is able to create openings to allow for himself to load up rather than just loading up naked. He uses defense to set up those big offensive opportunities. That, yeah, I got the luxury now to load up and telegraph because I trapped you where you can't get away. But if he doesn't, go watch the Sasaki fight. But it wasn't loading up. He was throwing big, yes, but he wasn't loading up. He wasn't loading up on stuff. And he was catching Norman. He was catching Sasaki anytime he wanted to. And again, Sasaki is not a slouch. He is not a bump. He is not just some ho-hum fighter. That brother, he is a dangerous opponent. That if any of these things that we talked about did show up in that fight, Norman could have been in some real trouble. But it didn't. Because he has evolved right before our eyes and keeps getting better and better and better. This man is the truth. I'm not saying Haney's a bump. No, I'm not. But we can't deny that, man. Some of these things we can't use anymore as barometers as to why Haney would have success. Because those things are not what Norman does anymore. Based on what we've seen in the last fight. That's why this fight is so enticing, but also so scary for the likes of Devin Haney. Let me see. This is a very good fight for both fighters. I actually don't have a winner at the moment. It's a phenomenal fight. Oh, it's great. Oh, it's lovely. It's beautiful. It's stunning. It is gorgeous. We can't wait for it. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for the day. For me, I got a winner. And I really think it's Norman. And again, is the last fight of Devin Haney skewing it? Yes, it is. Understandable. Do we recognize that Haney has not fought like that for his entire career outside of that one fight with Ramirez? Yes, we do. That still doesn't negate the fact that I have nothing else right now to go and build another case for what we can see Devin Haney do right. Even when going back to the fights where he was at his best. I just don't see it. And for me, again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Absolutely. I just can't see it. Rather than point out what Devin Haney can't do, what's not going to work, what can Norman Jr. do to win this fight? What does he need to do to win this fight? Ryan the Austrian fueled through his veins? Yes, he did. Listen, Norman has respect for Devin. His timing is perfect. Devin needs angles and attack. Devin needs angles and attack whenever Norman loads up. Yep, you are right about that. Yo, Jason Radcliffe, what's good with that, brother? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please leave a like on the stream right now since you're here. And go ahead and share the show with everybody that you can to let them get in on what we got going on right now for this phenomenal show. Like I said, we started late because I just got back from what I was doing over the weekend. Now we're here. Now we're live. We got a lot to discuss, and we talk about it right now. Let's see. I think Norman is the real deal, and Haney needs to fight a few lesser opponents, then move up in class, then championship. Now, I would have liked that same route too. But now, officially, if you didn't know, officially, Devin Haney versus Norman is a go, and it's happening. It's here. It's here. It is officially happening in November. No more waiting around. There's no building up, period. He's here. He's fighting for the belt. And it's going down. So we're excited for it. I wish there was a tune-up. You ain't lying. Show me something else against another fighter. But, hey, Haney doesn't duck smoke. We applaud him for not ducking smoke. We applaud him for always taking on the best opposition possible. So we will not, he's keeping to his standard. And we'll always respect that. And I'm with you. I truly believe. I think Norman's the real. That brother. He is not just a facade. He is not just a recent hype job. This man he's legit. That win with Sasaki. Again, I've been following Sasaki and a couple of the other fighters in Japan more than maybe some of. Again, with all due respect, not saying that you don't, but if you don't, I know who Sasaki is and who Sasaki was. And to handle him like he did and do what you did to him ultimately is something that only an elite fighter would be able to do. It's the truth. You can beat him. You can beat Sasaki, yes. But to do that, to dominate him like that, you have to be great, elite, to do that complete body of work against Jin Sasaki. You have to. Knocking him down twice in the first round and then ultimately dominating him every round afterwards with no issue to then go knock him out in a violent KO of the year. Only an elite fighter could do that to the man of Jin Sasaki's caliber. Only an elite fighter. So he is the truth. He is the truth. Listen, Norman's going to knock out Haney, and I'd say second. Now, I don't know if it's going to be that early. I got him knocking out Haney, but I don't think it's going to be that early. No, hold on. Wait a minute now. Wait a second. That's extreme, my brother. That's extreme. I don't know if it's going to be that early, but I do think it's going to be a KO. Now, let me see. Albuga, let's see. You were saying, what does Norman need to do to win this fight going up against the likes of Devin Haney? What Norman needs to do if he is going to win this fight. And again, we're going to have this talk closer to November. We're going to have a full-blown breakdown, a whole show dedicated to just talking about who can win, why each can win, and having this whole debate again, but with, again, even more detailed talk. But what Norman needs to do, at least on the surface, the brother has to corner Devin Haney. Number one, he's got to. He's got to corner Devin Haney. Make Devin Haney's feet obsolete by being able to consistently track him. It ain't got to be perfect. It ain't got to be that you're always in front of for the entirety of the fight. But it's got to be that you make him work harder than he's ever had to work to get distance away from you. Make it so that that jab can't be popped out by staying in that mid to close range area. That's number one. That's number one. Number two, what you got to do is attack the body. Go downstairs every second you get. I am sick of every single time I see people fighting a mover. They keep jabbing to the head. Take your hands and you start flooding the basement and you go downstairs and you start, I don't care if it's blocked, you start ripping to the body. From the start of the fight, you jab to the body, you hook to the body, you throw to the body. Because that ain't moving. I don't care if he blocks the punch, but it's going to take effect some way, shape, or form. You go there. And you keep on digging. And you render it so that he can't use his legs or his stamina nearly as much as he would be able to in the later stage of the fight that we normally see Devin Haney be able to do. You make it so that now he's got to be flat-footed. Or he has to slow down. Because he's not gonna punch himself out. You have to physically dominate him and make it so that he gets tired because of the amount of punishment. Even if it's blocked, you have to. That's number two. And then number three, once you have him cornered, once you do get him to a position where now, excuse me, I'm sorry. Before that, number three, got a counter. You have to, like Mooman, I think it was Mooman, no, Macau. Like Macau B was saying when it came to countering, and Devin Haney willing to counter and get the respect of Brian Norman. Norman's got to make it so that Devin Haney feels the power that's coming his way, more than just experiencing it. He's got to make him scared. And you do that by you make it a point in time. I'm going to counter that jab. Make it an effort. I'm going to attack the body. I'm going to make sure that I keep cutting off the ring and punching where you're going. So you never have the luxury of being able to pivot out and be safe. And I am going to make it a point to counter that jab when you throw it. I don't care if I punch after it. I'm going to go and I'm going to try. And it's going to land at some point in time. I'm going to get it right. And once I get it right, now I can really start to unfold the whole of my talent and ability. And once I get that jab timed, and I'm able to counter and trade with Haney, like Haney would have to do with me to get respect, then ultimately I'm feeding into Devin Haney's fear. I am then going in, and once you get tired, once you get fatigued physically with the punishment, once the jab starts to slow down, once I force you to have to go and open up with me, now I am going to not just let my hands go, but I am going to feed into your fear of the left hook. And I'm going to throw it. Body and head and body. And I'm going to set up that right hand. It has been almost 2 years that the left hook has been the only thing that Devin Haney's been worried about. He fought somebody who one of his best punches is the left hook in Jose Ramirez, just to make it a point. Hey, I figured it out. If I'm Brian Norman, with the amount of power I got in every single shot, and off the backs of the KO that I just did against the likes of Sasaki, that has everybody across divisions petrified, I'm feeding that fear. I'm feeding that anger. Or excuse me, I'm feeding that uneasiness. Like I said, we talked about fear in the past episode. Fear can be used to throw somebody off their game without you even doing anything. You doing the same thing, just by the fact of it's coming, further can feed into, I'm going to make a mistake because I'm so scared. This is what we have with Brian Norman. The fear of not just his power, but of the same shot that knocked out Jen Sasaki is the same shot that Devin Haney's been scared of, that Bill Haney's been scared of, that everybody's been saying, you can't let that touch you. I'm going to use that to my greatest advantage. I'm spamming it in the second half of the fight. I don't care. I'm spamming it. I'm going to set up smartly, but I'm going to look for it. I'm going to look for it. I'm throwing it. Body, head, body, jab, hook, straight body, hook. It's coming. And the second, by round 8, I'm switching it up. I'm feinting with the left, and I'm coming with the straight right down the pipe. Now I got you trained. Now I got you predictable. Now I got you. I know where you're going to go. And I switched it up so that now you are hurt. You're beaten up. You're tired. You now know you can't counter with me. You can't use your jab as effectively anymore, especially from this range. I'm keeping you off of me with the clinch. I'm not allowing you to have the luxury of using this whole ring as a means to keep yourself safe from my power and my own jab. And now I'm switching up my offense. And I'm making my greatest weapon my secondary option, which is the left hook. With 4 rounds left in the fight. And now what you're going to do? Now you're unpredictable. Now you're more tired. Now your feet aren't able to fail you. Or your feet are failing. Now you have to fight, and now you don't know what's going to come next. And you know you can't hurt me. And you know you can't fight me off. And that's when I go for broke. That's when I go for broke. For 3 rounds. I do what Lomachenko tried to do, but because of his physicality, he wasn't able to do. And tries to completely take over and dominate from the standpoint of it's clear as day. There's no dispute on the inside. And that's when I got you. And that's when, now I'm going for the KO. That's what I would do. And that's the best game plan I could think of, to go and beat the likes of Devin Haney. That's what I think is going to happen, honestly. And also, there's one more thing with this fight that I think we may not recognize, but I'm going to touch on it after the comments. After Devin throws a bow and arrow job, he's going to time it and counter it with that left hook. That's the thing. And I don't even think the bow and arrow effect is going to be an issue anymore. Because again, he did fix it. He is intentional with it. He has straightened that up. It's not nearly as big of a problem as it used to be. But old habits die hard. We know this. Old habits die hard. We know this. Old habits can die hard. And just like with Jake Paul, just like with Deontay Wilder, just like with other fighters, great and not great, when you get tired and when it gets late in the fight and your gas tank ain't where it needs to be, whether it's because of fatigue, whether it's because of damage, you revert back to what you're most comfortable with. You do. Unless you're a different breed of discipline. You revert. Every fighter has done it. Almost every fighter has done it. And with Devin Haney, he's going to revert. If it gets to that level, he's going to revert. And when he reverts back, with everything else now unusable, hypothetically, if it gets to that point, now that bow and arrow effect, when that does come back, Sasaki 2.0. Sasaki 2.0. That's what's going to happen if it does come back. Let me see. Yeah, it's a bit of an uphill battle for Devin Haney. Generally, the boxer puncher, Norman, has the advantage against the pure boxer, Devin Haney. We'll see. And again, again, hopefully that was a good initial breakdown. Like I said, it ain't perfect. I understand. I gave you as much of a detailed thing as to what needs to be done for Norman to beat Devin Haney the most effective way from my vantage point. But like I said, we're going to look at it more. We're going to have more talks about it. But there is a more clear-cut way that Devin Haney can beat, or that Norman can beat Haney, that Haney can beat Norman. Because Haney using the jab can be detrimental. Haney using footwork. Because of the better footwork of Norman, not saying it's better than Haney, but to be able to keep up with Haney on a more consistent scale, can make it so that Devin Haney gets tired out. Clinching and stopping the work of Norman once he does close the gap is not something that's going to be smart, because Norman can also fight out of it, and he can negate it entirely. And even if you do clinch up, he can walk you back to wherever he wants you to be positioned in the ring. He can do that. And when you escape the clinch, he's going to throw. And normally, I'm going to be serious, Devin Haney's got the same issue that most boxers have when it comes to the clinch. On the escape, they're not disciplined. Most boxers in the clinch, once they break the clinch in any way, shape, or form, they're not disciplined enough to be ready for something coming back at them. Dave Benavidez takes advantage of that every single fight. Crawford takes advantage of that. In a way, takes advantage of that. Most great fighters take advantage of that. But also, most great fighters aren't ready for that when it comes back at them. Haney, same way. Similar issue. Similar problem. And that's where, again, the good that can work for Haney, the counter is there, clear as day, for Norman to have the knowledge and ability to take advantage of that counter. But I don't see the same on the other side for Devin Haney, at least right now. The more I think, we'll come up with something. Like I said, I'm not trying to be unfair. I'm not. But we got to keep it a spade. Got to keep it a buck. I got to keep it even killed. Got to be unbiased. Right now, I just don't see it. I just really don't see it. And what's even bigger with this fight with Norman, be on the lookout for, as the fight gets closer, the ring size may change. And it might not be 20 by 20.
Hey, we got some problems here. We got some problems here.
It might not be 20 by 20. This ring could be another 18 by 18 ring. He did it for Shakur Stevenson. And if we see this fight card all of a sudden be great for Shakur Stevenson, and Berlanga's paid all that stuff, and all of a sudden the thing of a smaller ring on these ring magazine cards are good, with the concerns being for the likes of Shakur, Devin Haney, William Skull Canelo, being the poster childs of this running argument, you better be prepared that Devin Haney might be in the same situation of an 18 by 18 ring, a smaller ring, an inside fighter friendly ring on the night of the fight. And if that just happened, That's gonna be problematic. That's gonna.
Hey, look at this. We got some problems here. We got some problems here.
You're gonna have some problems. We're gonna have some problems. Mark my words. If that does happen, it's gonna be a dangerous road. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a very dangerous road indeed if that does take place. But again, I think we got more. I think I don't mean to. Let me see. We got everything else. Did we talk about that fight? No. Okay, we talked about Paul, Haney, Norman. Talked about Schofield. Was there anything? Let me make sure we ain't got nothing else that we need to discuss on this show, or can we go straight into the championship rounds for today's episode as we ended off? Because again, this is almost 5 o'clock. I love talking with y'all, absolutely, but I don't want to hold up too long. No question about it. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about everything we can cover. And so, shoot, we can go to the championship rounds right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed the championship round. Yes, sir. Whatever you all want to discuss on the show, boxing, NBA, NFL, sports, movies, TV, I think I said video games, all of it, anime, we can discuss it right here. This show is your own. We got 30 minutes, potentially an hour, however long this goes, to see what you all got to say. And hey, make sure you vote. Let your voice be heard. Hit the like on the stream. Get people involved in the conversation. Go on and share the show with everybody that you can. Subscribe if you have not already. Hit the notification bell so you can see what we got every single time we post on this channel. And please, if you can support, because we're getting monetization. Getting close. Almost there. Until we do, we got Cash App. We got PayPal. And links in the description as well. If you want to give and support the show, any amount will do. If you do give, put it in the chat. What you gave, how much you gave. I can verify and I can give you the shout out as you so aptly deserve. Because we can't do this without you. Oh gosh, let me not hit the mic. We can't do this without you. And we appreciate it oh so much. And we want to make this show bigger and better. To truly turn this into the hottest show in all of the globe. But let me see what y'all got to say. Thoughts on Zerto. So, Zerto Ramirez fighting against Drakius. Won cleanly. Performed. People said it was a bad performance. I didn't think it was as bad as people were making it out to be. Now, he did look slower. No question about it. He did look absolutely slow. He did look slow. Looked out of shape. Or more out of shape than I've seen. Wasn't as put together. From a standpoint of standard, I know Zerto is. He, even with that, still was not bad in this fight. Like I said before, this brother was parrying everything coming in front of him. Was able to still put on great offensive displays of peppering the shots on Drakius and then landing big hooks upstairs and downstairs. Varying his offense. Being able to come forward and still be effective. Boxing beautifully still. On a night that, again, was not his best night outright. From a physical perspective, and in some cases, from just outright the standard of what we know Zerto does when he fights. But still, he dominated. He still looked like he lived up to the throne of being one of the two best fighters in all of the division. The offense was still beautiful. It was incredible. It still flowed like water. Even if the punches weren't that quick. Again, whatever Jake Paul said about Zerto needs to be quicker. But Jake Paul, you need to be quick. You need to be able to keep up your speed for more than 4 rounds. So you can shut up with your balding self. But regardless of which, I digress. He is still so elite. But now, just like again, when it came to, I said he needs to fight Apatah now. And that fight needs to happen now. It needs to happen. Zerto versus Apatah has got to happen. Forget Jake Paul. Go after that belt. Go after that title. Go after unifying against Jai Apatah. And makes all the sense in the world now. You called him out. Jai said, hey, brother, let me get your number. Or excuse me, Zerto said, hey, get my number and call me. And let's make this fight happen. Jai, I think over Twitter, said, hey, somebody give me this man's number so we can make this fight happen. Now they both officially have called each other out publicly. In a public space. After a dominant win for each of them. Now is the time. You got to make it happen. You have to. There's no more waiting around. There can't be any more instances of us having this fight slip through our fingers. Because if I'm being completely honest right now, yes, Apatai faced a worse opponent in Claudio than what we saw the likes of Zerto face against Druckus with respect. But even still, I can't say for certain that I got Zerto really winning this fight now. Because there is a level, if we do want to talk about the speed discrepancy, there is a level of sharpness that we see with Apatai that Zerto doesn't have. I can say that. I can say that. There is a level of sharpness that Zerto does not have, that Apatai does when it comes to cutting the air with a knife, when he punches. There's a level of explosiveness and an instantaneous ability of Apatai when he just commits the throw that Zerto doesn't have. I do have to say that. But there's a better flow and offensive ability with Zerto than what Apatai's got. Apatai, he'll cut the air. Absolutely. And he's a great finisher, great powerful puncher. But in terms of offensive artistry, Zerto's got that in his bag better. He does. He does. I think he sets up offense better. He's able to he can, again, that ability to stand in front of you, pepper and strike, flow, again, then pepper, strike, and then strike, pepper, somewhat similar to what we saw with Lomachenko, keeping you occupied and setting up with stuff that you can't block. Zerto does that better. He does. Absolutely he does. Zerto might be better defensively from the standpoint of what Apatai does with distance, jumping back and jumping forward. Zerto does with blocking, somewhat similar to Big Bang Jang. Remember when we talked about Big Bang Jang? You remember when we talked about Big Bang Jang and Jang and this ability? He's slow, ain't got a whole bunch of speed to him, ain't got great head movement, but he's got an uncanny ability to parry what comes at him. He showed it against Hergovich. He was showing it against Joseph Parker before he got tired, when he was just catching stuff with that lead hand and blocking and using his guard to be stationary but still be effective. Zerto's got that. He does, along with head movement as well. And an ability to, after he punches, already slipping. Like I said, the flow of the fight, I think Zerto might be better at than Jai Apatai. But the destructive nature and the instantaneous ability in a fight to react immediately, Apatai's got it. So this fight, this is intriguing. This fight's really intriguing. And so I almost want to say that I got Apatai as a slight favorite. But even then, this might be a 50-50 fight for me. And it is shoot, man. I don't know. I really don't know. Let me see. I think Jai's a little overhyped and Zerto's a little underrated. Probably lean Zerto just off of experience. I don't think Apatai's overhyped. But I do think that Zerto is underrated as a fighter. Like I said, Apatai with the names, with the quality of talent, with the names, the destructive quality that he has in his offense and the eye-catching ability is great. But he does indeed deserve the claims to his name that he is being talked about as. That's not a question. However, Zerto is indeed the second best fighter in that division, or the best, or tied, whichever one you want to say. But at the same time, he is underrated because people look at Jai Apatai as this overarching dominant force that just is knocking anybody out left, right, and center. But Zerto, with the type of work that he does, and with him not being as much of a household name, might not be as well known. But his talent, brother, hey, Hey, man, Appetite, don't let this fight fool you, brother. When you get in that ring, you may think he may be slow, but you're going to be getting caught. You're going to be asking why. It's going to be because he is a crafty, offensive, effective fighter that will be able to, he can be in front of you and make it so that you in trouble. He can do that. He can. Oh, yes, he can. Oh, yes, he can. So I actually think Appetite is not overhyped, but I think Zurdo's overrated because Zurdo's definitely on Appetite's level. No question. No question. And again, like we said, if either of them faced off against Jake Paul, they would destroy him. They would, in fact, they would destroy him. The fact, look, here's the thing. The fact that Appetite didn't get called out as the bigger, more lucrative name than the likes of Zurdo Ramirez, but Zurdo was the one that got called out by Jake Paul, shows you just how much underrated ability we see Zurdo have. It shows you. Because there's no reason that Jake Paul should be calling out him at all. And it only makes sense to call out Appetite in a fight that you can't win. Make the money. But now, Jake Paul really thinks he can beat Zurdo. Jake Paul really thinks he can beat Zurdo Ramirez. Jake Paul actually believes he can beat Zurdo for his title, which is ludicrous, ridiculous. But he actually believes it. And I'm telling you right now, no, sir. That's going to be, you don't get what's happening. You don't know what you're dealing with. You don't know who you're dealing with. And you really don't understand exactly what is coming at you. Because he's underrated. Appetite is rated properly. But he also has the hype that is but dangerous. Don't fight him at all. You will get put on a poster. But Zurdo ain't got the same recognition. But brother, he will eat you alive. He will. He'll do it. So at least that's how I feel about it. And the experience of Zurdo, but in 43 fights, fighting against everybody in the division, being this much of a consistent, dominant, quality fighter, because he ain't knocking people out as violently as Appetite. May not got as much recognition, though he's got 32 KOs. Don't let it fool you, brother. He will take you out. He'll do it. I promise you, he'll do it. No question all in my mind about it. Oh, real quick, before I forget, some news on free agency. As, again, we're in the championship rounds. While you're still getting all your questions and comments together, which we love, we want to hear. We're glad to see what you got going on. But while you're getting your questions together, and we're getting to the tail end of this championship rounds topic, we do need to make sure that we discuss the likes of free agency in the NBA. Because now it's running them up. It's everywhere. And doggone it, we got everybody's getting traded all at once, which is ludicrous. I'm so serious. But Dame just got waived out of nowhere. Dame got waived out of nowhere from the Bucks. Brook Lopez is going to the Clippers. We got what is it? Nickeil Alexander-Walker just signed a multiple. How many years did he sign? Shoot, let me pull it up because it's just been a litany of moves. Miles Turner just signed a 5-year deal with the Bucks in light of Brook Lopez signing with the Clippers, and so it's ridiculous. It is insane. Lakers now, shoot, LeBron might be gone after this season. Picked up the $53 million option, but now it's going on again last year with the Lakers, and people are saying, "Hey, why not take the pay cut instead of taking the money?" One, Kobe didn't take a pay cut for his entire career. And he also demanded a trade out of LA if they didn't get him the help for the 2 years that they sucked in the early 2010s. Next thing you know, they get him, or in the early, I think late 2000s, excuse me. Then they get Lamar Odom. Then they get Andrew Bynum. Then they get Pau Gasol. Bang, bang, boom, they're back to a title contender. But that brother was gone. He was going to leave. And he also was still the highest paid player in the league almost every year up until he retired. So don't say he should not take the money. And also don't say that, taking a pay cut, you'll let the Lakers do more stuff financially. When they had got money to do stuff now, and they lost out on Brook Lopez, lost out on Nickeil Alexander-Walker, lost out on Miles Turner, and now the only person that they got at this point in time is DeAndre Ayton when it comes to a center being their main focus of moves. And even then, he might not get any, he might get picked up by somebody else. And that's it. I'm reading through right now to make sure I don't miss nothing. Because we got moves coming up right, left, right, center. Jakob Poeltl just signed with Toronto. Tim Hardaway Jr. signed with Denver. Who else? What's another big one? Dennis Schroeder just signed with the Kings. Let me see. Gary Harris signed with Milwaukee. Sacramento Kings traded Jonas Valanciunas to the Nuggets for Dario Saric. Jonas Valanciunas, a potential viable center that the Lakers could have had if we're talking about just the moves that this has been one of the biggest stories of the year. Can the Lakers get a center? Now he's off the board. Dame getting weighed by Milwaukee. Don't know who's going to pick him up now after the Achilles injury. Potentially, we could see the likes of, if you with DeMar DeRozan, with Zach LaVine, DeMarcus Sabonis, maybe Kings take a chance on him and try to pick him up. Though they just got Dennis Schroeder. Might not be likely, but still, you want to take a risk on a person who just ruptured their Achilles. Now, take a chance, and now you got a great rotation of players. It's going to cost you something, but still, it could happen. Not saying it could happen, but even still, it's a lot. It is a lot. Good gosh, it's a lot. And stuff is still coming right now. But let me see what y'all got to say. But yeah, big things going on in the league right now. I mean, huge things going on in the league. Let's not forget Kevin Durant's on Houston. Well, the Rockets could still make moves. The Rockets could still make moves to bolster their roster with KD on the Houston Rockets right now. And we could still see more trades coming down the line at any given point in time. Everything's in flux. Shea just signed a $253 million deal. The highest paid contract yearly in history. Coming off of MVP, coming off of a title. With OKC still having more trades than anybody has. And they got more trades than there are teams in the league. They got more first-round picks than there are teams in the Western Conference. It's ridiculous. And they can still build and grow. Oh, don't forget the story with Giannis. But Giannis ain't happy with the moves that they made with Damian Lillard getting away. With Damian Lillard getting let go from the Bucks. And we've been treading waters with that whole saga with Giannis in Denver. Will he stay or will he go? If he does not feel that they're going to be a championship contender and looking to be a title contender. Now, with them letting go of Dame, Giannis ain't happy. And we can see that buddy demand a trade. Go ahead, it can happen. We can see that buddy demand a trade. And stuff is dangerous in Milwaukee. It's dangerous in Milwaukee right now. We've been looking to see if Giannis is actually going to leave. He's been dropping tidbits and signs. He wants to be with the contender. He did his job. He brought a title. He wants to win. But he ain't going to stay there if you ain't going to build it properly. He ain't going to make the same mistake that LeBron did with Cleveland and stay for 7 years without any consistent level of roster shakeups and moves. And if you can't get it, brother, he will leave. And they just let go of the brother that he wanted there. Not even letting it pan out to at least get one more year after injury to get a chance to be able to win with a fully healthy roster, with a young center and Miles Turner in there. It's bad. It's bad. It's dangerous. And again, like I keep on saying, Warriors might try to get him. If he demands a trade, OKC can get him. they can trade away Chet Holmgren and they can get Giannis. They can do it. They can trade away both Jalen Williams and get Giannis and be okay. If they wanted to. And they just signed Jalen Williams, the one that looks like Duke Dennis. They just signed that brother to another 3-year deal. Because of how critical he was to defending the likes of Jokic in the playoffs. But still. But it's scary. It is scary. It is really scary. I can't believe how much money they throw around the NBA these days. Yeah, man. This is the luxury of the evolution of the game. Now, there's more money to be able to be spent. There is more money to be able to be spent. Now, when you reach this threshold of elite caliber, it's great. It's phenomenal. This freedom, this financial freedom, this ability to make generational wealth within the span of 3 years in the league with hundreds of millions of dollars to your name, it's possible. Off the backs of the greats of the past, they had to work to get this level of money. I mean, it was the same thing with the Muhammad Ali, Jack Dempsey, Jack Johnson. They paved the way to help make lucrative contracts a consistent thing for fighters who've reached the top of the mountain. Players, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Spencer Haywood, making it possible for you to come out of high school and play, let alone be paid. AI helping to change the narrative of what is culturally correct to be seen in the league and help make legitimate authenticity marketable for the league to be able to say, hey, okay. They shifted left real quick when they turned back around and went right. And now you see that fashion is no longer just a thug type thing. Dreads, chains, tattoos are no longer seen as thuggish nature, which again was backed by racial undertones with the why it was being talked about by media, by pundits, by the league itself. Finally got embraced as what it is: authenticity, culture in its purest form, and is now celebrated. You get sponsors now because of that. Your image is better because of that. They want that from you. It took sacrifices from the past to get this type of money now. And so it's the same. It's great. But it's still unbelievable. And it's crazy that Shea, of all people, got this type of money. Not because he isn't great, but because even Steph ain't never get paid like this. LeBron ain't never get paid like this. Shoot, Giannis, when he ran the gauntlet, All-Star Game MVP, first team All-NBA, first team All-Defense, Defensive Player of the Year, Finals MVP, and championship. He didn't even get paid this much. Insane. Insane work. Insane work. But hey, it's good that it's happened. Because now, again, I'm all about people getting their money. If you earn it. And he didn't earn it, we can't deny. I can't deny that he earned it. And again, right now, we're getting ready to go. I'm looking up any further news with anything going on in the realm of the world of either boxing and or basketball or the sports in general. And right now, Twitter's going to ride for me. Hopefully, is it working or is it still? Okay, so it is working. Okay. I want to say that's it. For what I got right now for on the show, and if nobody else has anything to say on the live stream, I think we can pack it up and send it home. Did something happen with... Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm looking. Did something just break? Oh, shoot. Oh, my gosh. Something did break. It ain't big news. But brother Jakob Hurdle, it's got a full year, $104 million. I thought it said 10.4. Oh, shoot. How did he get that? How did he get that kind of money? What? Jacopoto got 104 million? That's insane. That's ridiculous. And again, but look, I think that's everything. For now. I think that's everything. And so for the time being, I think we're going to wrap it up and send it home. So I don't think we're going to talk about comeback Thursday. We're going to talk about Chris Eubanks Jr. versus Conor Ben. That fight getting made. We're going to talk more about Crawford versus Canelo, as well as more with this whole discussion with the likes of Schofield, Shakur, Tank, and much more when we come back on Thursday. But it's almost 5 o'clock, and we got to get out of here. I know we started late, but we had a phenomenal show. But we got to give a rest. Got to let y'all enjoy your afternoon, and we got to get ready for Thursday. So with all of that being said, this has been another episode of the Watch Report with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the show. Please leave a like on the stream before you leave. Comment your thoughts and opinions on whatever you liked or didn't like about this show. Debates, concerns, conversations, all that stuff. And hey, keep on subscribing to the channel and hit the notification bell so you know whenever we post on this channel to see what's going on in the world of the Watch Report, and you're always informed and up to date. Be sure to share the show with everybody you know so we can keep on building up this empire together. And please, go ahead, if you can, support Cash App, PayPal, links in the description if you want to get to the channel. Anything we're doing, we appreciate it oh so much. But we're going to be back Thursday, talk about more about the world of sports. I've been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been wonderful. Peace and love. We are out of here. Yes, sir. We're going to see you all on Thursday.